The grim reality of sewage in Welsh waterways. Filth, dead fish and human waste littering this once idyllic nature reserve, all the result of a broken pipe that's been leaking for years. The seconds before Kyle O'Callaghan killed a beloved father with a punch. Tonight he starts a 10-year prison sentence. The pop factory has lost its fizz, but can the glory days be brought back to this valley's town? Plus, all tickets at the ready as celebrations kick off for the special anniversary of this historic railway. Hello, good evening. Dead fish and human faeces. That's what contaminates the Afon Cenvig River near Port Talbot, in what campaigners say is one of the worst water pollution incidents in Wales ever. Repeated ruptures over the last 3 years in the Dŵr Cymru pipework has seen raw sewage continually discharged into the river, which runs through a protected nature reserve. This latest incident has prompted further questions on whether the water company is fit for purpose. It was only in March that Welsh Water were fined £44.7 million for serious and unacceptable failures, all at a time when our water bills are going up. Well, our climate correspondent Hannah Thomas is live at the site for us tonight. Hannah, what's going on where you are?
Well, John, you can probably see the Afon Cenvig over my shoulder. And no doubt to you and to Wales at 6 viewers, it doesn't look particularly healthy. And that's because, as you say, over the past 3.5 years, despite Welsh Water's best efforts, they haven't yet been able to repair leaks from a sewage pipe. The problem hasn't yet been solved. And so today I was given exclusive access to farmland to see firsthand just where this pollution is coming from.
The glint of sunlight on Afon Cenvig shows up the grey, murky substance in the water. It is, in fact, raw sewage. It's been like this for the past few weeks, and it's getting worse. Local residents can only stand and watch.
You can see the amount of pollution that's coming into the river, raw sewage.
They can also see that it's coming out of a sewage discharge point midway along the river.
This last couple of weeks, we've come down to have a look ourselves because of the smell and what's happening further down the river with dead fish and birds floating around. I don't want Welsh Water to get fined. I want them to give us back the river we had 10 years ago, where there was kingfishers and otters swimming here.
But they couldn't swim in this. I filmed near here in March when the raw sewage and faeces on farmland was very visible. It wasn't safe for livestock to graze on, and some local residents are worried about the public health impact for people too.
Possible biological hazards include E. coli, norovirus, hepatitis A and antibiotic-resistant bacteria, not to mention things like the increased vermin in the air, including rats.
These are the most serious water pollution incidents in Wales in the last year, and most of them centre around the Port Talbot and Cenvig areas. But it's not just about what you can see, it's also about what you can smell.
It's difficult to portray a bad smell on TV, but if you look at the colour of this water, you can use your imagination to work out how strong this stench is. It's filling my nostrils, I can taste it, and it's even at the back of my throat. I can literally smell nothing else.
Alan Phillips is from campaign group A Peace for Nature. He's been doing his own research into water pollution incidents across Wales, and he says that this one is by far the worst.
We've done some testing with our field testing equipment. We've sampled ammonia levels, phosphate levels, nitrate levels. All are elevated and show a very toxic river, essentially, that is not going to support any life at all.
Welsh Water are laying an overground pipe to deal with it, but in the meantime, the spills will take time to fix.
All treatment plants take time to seed up and to work. It's a biological process. It's not like flipping a switch. So we're in the process at the moment of getting this to really start to perform.
Before the interview, Steve, I had a look at your social media post, and your Twitter handle, or X handle I should say these days, is Turd Herder69. Are you making a joke of this? Are you making light of this situation?
Look, that's my own private Twitter and actually wastewater, when you're going to spend all your career working in wastewater, you have to have a bit of a black sense of humour. So look, my private Twitter name is light-hearted, but that in no way reflects on the seriousness of the way in which we take our job here and the work that we're doing to protect the environment.
This is what the environment looks like now. Welsh Water are spending £13 million cleaning it up, but local residents can't wait to see cleaner water in here.
Hannah, as you've covered many times before, water pollution is an ongoing issue across the country, and not just from sewage spills by water companies. The new Welsh Government has got to get a handle on this, hasn't it?
Yes, I did ask the new Cabinet Secretary for Rural Resilience and Sustainability for an interview, but I was told that ministers are still working through their briefs. It is only a week, though, John, since that Senedd election, and in Plaid Cymru's manifesto, they said they want to reduce incidents of pollution in our rivers and seas. They say they want to collect better and more data on pollution incidents, and they want to work to ensure that every water body in Wales achieves a minimum good status. So as we stand here on the Afon Kenfig tonight, these are the kinds of issues that are going to crop up in Llyr Griffiths Intre when he gets started properly next week.
Hannah Thomas in Kenfig, thanks very much indeed. A man has been jailed for more than a decade after he killed a man outside a pub in an unprovoked attack. 30-year-old Kyle O'Callaghan pleaded guilty to the manslaughter of Marcus Carpenter in February after punching him on a night out in Ebbw Vale. Isa Farfall reports.
These are the final moments before Marcus Carpenter was fatally assaulted outside a Wetherspoons pub in Ebbw Vale. It was just after midnight in February when Kyle O'Callaghan approached the 37-year-old, asking him to follow him outside. Moments later, CCTV captured the first punch. The court heard that Marcus Carpenter had shown no aggression towards O'Callaghan, but he had felt disrespected. Minutes later came the second punch. Marcus Carpenter collapsed to the ground with severe head injuries and later died in hospital. Today, the judge told Mr. O'Callaghan his behavior had been aggressive and intimidating throughout, rejecting his claim of self-defense completely. Instead, he described the attack as unprovoked and needless, telling him his action had caused unimaginable grief, loss and sadness. Today, he was sentenced here at Newport Crown Court to 10.5 years in prison. Police arrested O'Callaghan several days after the attack at a property in Cardiff, where officers found him attempting to climb from a window. In a statement read to the court, Marcus Carpenter's family described him as one of a kind with the kindest of hearts. Detectives say today's sentencing will never bring Mr. Carpenter back, but they hope it offers the family some measure of justice. Isa Farfur, ITV News.
Next, will the new First Minister have more powers than his predecessors? Creed ap Iorwerth seems to think so after a phone call with the Prime Minister last night, in which he says Keir Starmer was open to discussing further devolution for Wales. Well, Richard Morgan is outside the Senedd now. Richard, what more do we know?
Well, John, on one level, this conversation between the Prime Minister and the First Minister was a formality. It's normal for the resident of number 10 Downing Street to contact their counterpart in Cardiff to congratulate them on an election win. The difference this time, of course, was that he was speaking to a Plaid Cymru politician, and that makes talks about further devolution interesting because, of course, Plaid Cymru's ultimate ambition would be Welsh independence, of course. Now, Creed ap Iorwerth has made it clear that that's not on the agenda in this Senedd term. The Prime Minister, for his part, has said he's open to conversation about further powers. Also on the agenda in last night's chat was the Barnett formula. That's the system by which funding is allocated to Wales, rail and the cost of living. And all these matters would be discussed at a meeting between the two men and their opposite numbers in Northern Ireland and Scotland. And that meeting could take place as soon as next month.
And Richard, this conversation perhaps a welcome break for Keir Starmer, who's been battling questions over his leadership since last week's disastrous election results.
Well, that's right, John. I said they could be meeting next month. That's because there are still big question marks over Keir Starmer's future. Lots of speculation still today about a possible Labour leadership contest. Now, that depends on a number of factors, not least Andy Burnham winning a by-election in the northwest of England. But should that happen, and should there be a contest, there's every chance that Reen ap Iorwerth could spend the next 4 years negotiating with someone else entirely, John.
Richard Morgan, outside the Senedd in Cardiff Bay, thanks very much indeed. You're watching Wales at 6 this Friday evening. Still to come on the programme. Matt is here with all the latest sport.
Yes, John, just one more game to go in the Women's Six Nations, and Wales are still searching for a win. I'll have all the team news shortly.
Trying times on the weather front, though you could argue we've had 4 seasons in 1 week, with more fun and games to come this weekend. We'll see you in a few minutes.
But first, campaigners say they fear an important part of cultural and industrial history in the South Wales valleys could be lost forever without urgent action. The former Corona Pop factory in Porth operated until 1987 before it was converted into a music venue, hosting big acts like Tom Jones and the Stereophonics, as well as young emerging Welsh talent. But now it's been put up for sale. The fight is on to preserve the historic building for generations to come. And Mike Griffiths is there for us now. Mike.
Well, Jonathan, the history of this building is all around us, still right into the floor, which is where any spilt pop would have drained away back in its proper pop factory days. Then came those days post-Cool Cymru as some of the biggest names in Welsh music. For the last 15 years, though, it's had a real social and community purpose. And let's talk to some of the people who've made this their home as well. Steve, theatre background, you run a theatre company out of it, and you're part of the campaigners wanting to keep this going.
That's right. My name's Steve. I'm creative director of Spectacle Theatre Company, and I've just been overwhelmed today. We've launched our campaign here today. Our aim is, single aim, it's to buy this building and keep it as a community asset for the whole of the Rhondda Cynon Taf.
Because it's a real gateway to the Rhondda when you come in, and I think we've got some pictures too of when it opened as the Pop Factory, a music venue in 2000. Music's still been a big part of things today, but all kinds of things under this roof, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, if you come here today, you can attend theatre classes, there's ceramics people, there's men's sheds, women's sheds, community sharing shops, there is support for young people in terms of getting into employment. There's all kinds of things that take place here, even a church on a Sunday.
That's everything you need. Well, let's talk, thank you very much, Stephen. Let's talk to some of the people who've made the most of it. I mean, Jennifer, you're involved in the community shop and supporting people there. Becky, as a community artist as well. Why is it great all being under one roof, talking to the two of you, I suppose?
Oh, we are such a diverse group and everyone works with each other, so that's why it's really important. So we've got like Tidfield Training who help people get into employment. They send people to volunteer to our shop. We've got Becky as well with your services.
Community art, yeah, and my studio buddy Dawn runs ceramics classes. We all know how good art is for health and well-being.
There are plenty of empty buildings, there are plenty of places where people can go and set up, but actually all being together is one of the positive things, isn't it?
It is, because what you get is you bounce ideas off each other. You feed from each other's creativity, enthusiasm, and that just lifts the energy and, yeah, it just makes everybody happy.
Well, this is fantastic. I mean, Valley's kids who run lots of brilliant things across the Valley. They say they're quite keen for this to be handed over. There's quite a hill to climb, isn't it, to take this on, but you're optimistic.
Yes, we are optimistic, and it's a really busy, bustling hub. Like, say, in the last 3 years, we've had 30,000 visits. So, you know, there's so much support behind us, and, you know, we can take it on.
Well, I wish you all the best with it. Lots happening still tonight. Thank you all three of you as well. Yeah. Wish everyone the best for this tonight, and there's still lots to go, and you'll hear more about this campaign, I'm sure.
Mike Griffiths in Porth, thanks very much indeed. Time now for a spot of sport. Matt is with me in the studio. Matt, more rugby ahead.
Yes, John, it's the final weekend of the Women's Six Nations, but unfortunately Wales are still searching for their first win. Sean Lynn has today named his team to take on Italy at the Cardiff Arms Park, and we'll take a little look at that now. There's just one change to the starting side for Wales, and it comes on the wing where Seren Singleton comes in for Hannah Dalla Valle. The rest of the backline is as it was for the defeat to Ireland, and Courtney Keat will be looking to end a strong individual Six Nations on a high. The forward pack, as I mentioned, is unchanged, and that means that Beth Ann Lewis captains the side from flanker, and youngsters Georgia Iona and Branwen Metcalf looking to build on their experiences so far in this campaign. But having lost every game since the start of the last World Cup, Wales need a win, and that's something head coach Sean Lynn is acutely aware of.
Look, as a head coach, I want to be winning. I want us to be performing. And sport is sport. Sometimes you get the luck of the bounce. But as long as we are getting our performances right, then as a head coach, I'll be happy. And these girls, the grit, the effort they're showing, but there are areas in our game which we can make sure we are moving the dial closer.
Now, while Wales play against Italy at the Arms Park on Sunday, there is plenty of action taking place next door at the Principality Stadium on Saturday. Monster Jam will return to the Welsh capital. The stadium has been transformed for the event, and earlier today, injured Wales captains Alex Callender and Kate Williams went along to meet some of the drivers and get a closer look at these impressive machines.
They can't see anything except directly in front of them. The trucks are massive, but I can't believe they've got no vision while they're in there. But and just the size of them, obviously I've seen them on YouTube, or whatever. But standing next to them, they're huge.
So plenty going on in the capital this weekend, John.
Loving those trucks, Matt. Thanks very much indeed. Now, loneliness and the impact it can have is one of the biggest challenges facing public health officials in Wales. Recent figures reveal nearly 15% of the adult population face social isolation, and it's something we're all being encouraged to talk about to help confront the issue, with one primary school in Merthyr Tydfil going that one step further. Our health reporter Katie Fenton explains.
Forget Hollywood. Movie magic's being made in Merthyr. These are some of the 9 and 10-year-olds behind a 4-minute film that puts a spotlight on loneliness. Using the patient art of stop-motion animation, Year 5s at Caedraw Primary clocked up hundreds of hours creating the story of Kai, a lonely bear on a quest for companionship.
Our message behind the letter is really important. It's all about taking the first step and reaching out for help.
Our animation shows that you're never really alone and people are all around you.
We hope when you watch our film you look out for each other because you never know what someone might be going through.
A little bit sad, wasn't he? What was he looking at upon the wall?
The story was inspired by conversations with elderly locals.
How many pictures do you have to take for every second in the film?
We've got to take 6 pictures for every second in the film.
Frame by frame, Kai eventually finds friendship, with the final cut containing around 2,500 photos.
What did your family say when they saw the film? Did anyone cry?
My mum did.
My mum was nearly crying.
Oh, your mum was crying?
Nearly.
Oh. Has it kind of made you like animation? Is it something you'd like to do more of?
Yeah, I used to never know about it, but now that we've done it, it means a lot.
What did you enjoy about making the film?
Probably moving the characters.
It was really fun bringing the characters to life.
And while they're a little shy in front of our camera, behind their own, they've clearly found their focus.
The confidence, number one, for me was massive to see them really shine, and especially some of our children who don't particularly like writing stories. It was a really nice way, a nice outlet of showing their storytelling skills.
Their work is now up for a prestigious Into Film Award.
The girls have got their dresses, the boys are all suited and booted. Very excited. We're going to have a very early train ride down to London, but it's going to be a lovely day, really magical for them all.
But for this class, the real happily ever after isn't a trophy on the shelf. It's making sure no one in their community is left out of the picture. Katie Fenton, ITV News in Merthyr Tydfil.
Wasn't that brilliant? A quick look ahead now at what's coming up on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, Streeting backs Burnham. The former Health Secretary says Labour needs the best players on the pitch. So what does it mean for the party's leadership? Plus, the e-bike rider jailed for 6 years after crashing into and killing a grandmother on a zebra crossing. And could it be Australia's year? Pop star Delta Goodrem catapults them into the Eurovision final tomorrow night in Vienna. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
But before that, the all-important weekend weather. You weren't filling us with much hope yesterday.
I know.
So...
I know. Well, to be honest, I stand by it, John. Well, the weather has frankly gone off the rails, hasn't it? But did you know one of our most beloved railways almost suffered the same fate? The Talyllyn Railway in Gwynedd is credited as being the inspiration for the Thomas the Tank Engine stories. But 75 years ago, it was threatened with closure. A group of dedicated volunteers managed to save the little line, and this weekend their efforts are being celebrated. Who else but Rob Shelley has more.
75 years and 2 monarchs ago, in the days when people wore hats, a group of hopeless romantics decided to save a railway. This railway. And amazingly, it's still here.
75 years of volunteers. Without that little impulse of something, this would have been maybe a couple of rails left rusting somewhere. What is it?
I mean, that's a good question. What I would say is the Talyllyn has an essence. There's something that people get drawn to it by. It was moribund, almost near death, and yet all these volunteers came together.
Back in 1951, when the volunteers took over, the lovers of little engines, the grass was growing through the tracks of the Talyllyn. Actually, it still does.
For someone to want to save a squeak of the past, it was running against the tide, wasn't it?
Absolutely it was, and to know that there's so many young people now that want to keep that story going and keep that memory alive is really, really special.
That there Thomas the Tank Engine's got a lot to answer for.
It certainly has, and we all love it.
But over 7.5 decades, a literal cast of thousands who've been paid in kindness and the occasional biscuit have kept that thread going.
Thing is, for the past 75 years, this here railway has run on love, hard work, coal and water. Especially water, because without it, steam trains do tend to blow up.
It's not all glamour and train driving. Someone has to wake the engines up and make them look presentable.
I'm trying to think of what the job description for opening crossing gates is. Are you the official crossing gates opener?
The official gate opener of Towyn.
That sounds quite... If you didn't open the gates, chaos would ensue.
No.
What is it about this place?
I don't really know, to be honest. It's just nice. Half of it's the people, to be honest.
And as it's a special anniversary, it isn't just the engines who've dressed up to celebrate.
Are you channeling flower power today for...
It adds a certain level of Shazam.
We need more Shazam in life.
Rob Shelley, ITV News, with the Railway Volunteers of Towyn.
Is it even a Friday if you haven't got Rob Shelley doing a little piece about a lovely railway line, John?
Who doesn't love Thomas the Tank as well?
Absolutely. Or Rob Shelley, for that matter. Perhaps few of us love the weather, though, at the moment, particularly the weather that we've been having this week. It's been, well, frankly, rubbish, hasn't it? We've had some sunshine showers, we've had hail, you name it. Weekend, of course, is just around the corner, and that's, well, actually not looking too much better. There will be some showers and heavier downpours from time to time, with some sunny spells thrown in for good measure, but you'll have to be quick to catch those. Now, here's the nugget of good news, the little bit to be optimistic about, is that, well, I'm sure you'll have noticed the northerly winds that have been plaguing us recently have been making it feel bitterly cold, several degrees below the average, actually, for the time of year. Those winds are about to disappear, and you can see our little friend, the jet stream, is starting to shift, which means by the time we get into the second part of the weekend, and actually for much of next week, we welcome in the yellows and the oranges. That means warmer air coming in from the south. So by the time we get into next week, we could see temperatures in the low to possibly the mid-20s, which frankly is a little bit more like it.
Today's forecast: blue skies,
followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, we end the week on a really rather cheerful note. There's blue sky and sunshine out there at the moment. As we head into the overnight stretch, though, the cloud will start to build and we'll see a few showers starting to work their way in too. Under clear skies, there is the possibility that it could be cold enough, maybe for a little touch of grass frost, but I think on the whole, we should escape this. But it does mean it is going to be a rather chilly start to your coming weekend. Some blue sky to start, but the showers, as you can see, never too far away. The cloud will build during the morning, and then as we head later into Saturday afternoon, the map turns blue. There will be some sharp showers starting to work their way in. Could be on the heavy side, maybe again some rumbles of thunder. Temperatures tomorrow, not surprisingly, much like today, a little bit disappointing. Highs of just 13 or 14, and you probably won't be too surprised to learn that we have moderate levels of UV. So as we head through Saturday night, if you are heading out and about, the rain, the good news is, even though it will be heavy, it will start to clear its way eastwards. And so by the end of Saturday night, the early hours of Sunday morning, it should be a drier story, maybe just a few showers dotted around. But actually, the cloud will start to break and we'll see some blue sky and sunshine, particularly through Sunday morning and into Sunday lunchtime. But you can see there are further showers waiting out in the Irish Sea. They'll arrive a little bit later. But Sunday certainly shaping up to be a pretty cheerful day. And the winds, now these are key because they become slightly more southerly, so we lose that biting northerly airflow that's dominated for much of this week. Temperatures will start to creep up, only slightly, but by Sunday we could see highs of 15, maybe squeezing a 16 in Celsius, and that warming trend thankfully will continue as we head into next week. It will remain largely unsettled, but as I said, hopefully it shouldn't feel quite as chilly as it has done.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
More good news for you if you are suffering with hay fever at the moment. The next few days are looking pretty comfortable. We're just coming into the start of the grass pollen season, so we are looking at generally low levels this weekend. There you are, low pollen, moderate levels of UV. What's not to love about that forecast? Apart from the rain and the rest of it.
Apart from the rain and the showers, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's it from us. Megan Booth will be back with a late update. That's after the ITV News at 10. But from Ruth and me and all the team, thanks for watching this week. We'll see you soon.